guys, welcome back to my kitchen. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a delicious raspberry cupcake with raspberry icing. You're going to love it. So we're going to start off by preheating our oven to 350 degrees. You're going to line your cupcake tin with either paper liners or silicone molds. I'm going to be using silicone molds today. And I've got all of my ingredients prepped and ready to go. All I'm going to do is pop on my apron so I don't get anything on my shirt, and let's get started. Okay guys, so I'm trying out a little bit of a different angle today, so I hope you can see everything well. We're going to start off with our dry ingredients. I've got some flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. I've got some egg whites, buttermilk, milk. I've got some butter. I use the Challenge brand butter. I just like this brand. It's nothing but milk and salt in here, but I use the unsalted kind so I can control my salt. But it was melted, but I left it sitting in front of the air conditioner, so it kind of got a little bit more solid. I've got some vanilla, and I've got some raspberry preserves. This is the seedless kind. If you buy the regular seeded raspberry jam or preserves, just go ahead and warm it up in the microwave for about 10 to 15 seconds just until it's loose, and then push it through a strainer just to get out all of the seeds. And I've also got some red food coloring. I want these to be a little bit a deeper color than red, pink, so I'm going to use just a couple of drops of red for the coloring. So let's get started. Okay, starting out with my dry ingredients, I've got some sugar here. I'm just going to sift all of these together. Now I know that sugar is technically a wet ingredient, but I want to make sure I get out all of the little hard clumps of sugar, so I'm going to sift it with my flour. So I'm going to add in my baking powder, salt, and baking soda, and just give this a little whisk through, or sift through, I should say, just to make sure all of the lumps are out. Great. Now, all I'm going to do is just whisk this together just to make sure everything is combined, just so we don't get lumps of one thing. Okay, so set that aside and work on my dry ingredient, or my wet ingredients. So I'm just going to add in my butter here. Like I said, it was melted, and then I kind of left it in front of the air conditioner, so it kind of got a little bit more solid, but that's fine. And I use unsalted because I want to make sure everything, I can control the salt and everything. So I'm going to add my butter, my egg whites, my buttermilk, milk, vanilla, my raspberry preserves right in. Now I'm going to give this a mix before I add in my food coloring, so that way I can get all of this mixed well and control the color, because I don't want to add too much, just enough to bring out that raspberry color. Okay, so I've got that mixed. It looks a little curdled right now, but that's fine. It'll get all mixed when we add in the flour. So I want to add just a tiny amount of food coloring, because I don't want it too red. That should be enough. And get this lid on there. There we go. And just give this another little whisk. There we go. Now all we're going to do is add the wet to the dry and give these a mix. until everything is combined and smooth. Okay, now it's not quite mixed in yet, so I want to go ahead and just clean off my whisk here and kind of mix it or fold it together with my little spatula here, just so I don't over mix the batter. Make sure everything is combined. Now, I think I want to make this a little bit more bright, so I'm going to add in a little bit more food coloring just from the spoon here, because I've got a little bit left over on the spoon. So we're going to add that in. Just fold it through. Alright, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to clean up just a little bit and we'll move on to the next step. Okay guys, so I've got my little cupcake liners here, and I've just got them on a sheet tray, and I've just got a 3 tablespoon measure here. You want to fill these 2/3 of the way full. And you don't want to overfill them because you don't want them spilling out the side, because then that would just create a mess, and then you'd have all your beautiful sweet muffins all over the sheet tray or muffin tin instead of in your liner. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish these up and pop these in the oven, and you're going to cook these for about 20 to 25 minutes or until they're completely cooked through. You can check them by inserting a toothpick in the center, and if they come out clean, you're good to go. It's okay if they have a few moist crumbs, because they're going to continue to cook a little bit after you take them out of the oven. So I'm just going to finish this up, pop them in the oven, and then I'll meet you right back here when we frost them. Okay guys, my cupcakes have cooled completely. I've got them sitting out over here on a plate. We are going to go ahead and make our frosting. We're going to make some Russian frosting, and it's going to be kind of half is going to be raspberry, half is going to be rose and vanilla. So we're just going to add in our butter right into our stand mixer here. You can do this by hand if you don't have a stand mixer. It works just fine. Let's set that there, and we are going to go ahead and put on our whisk attachment and get this going. We're going to whip this until the butter becomes doubled in size, and it's going to be light and fluffy. Okay guys, so the butter has whipped just a couple of minutes, and it's nice and pale and fluffy. You can see that. So now we're going to pop this back on. We're going to add in our cream cheese, and this is just 2 ounces of cream cheese. It's not going to give it a cream cheese flavor. It's just going to help stabilize the butter a little bit better, so it holds up a little bit longer. So we're just going to pop this down, and we're going to mix this until it's very well incorporated, about a minute or 2. Okay guys, so my cream cheese and my butter mixture is very nice and combined. I'm going to add in just about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now I've got some condensed milk here, some sweetened condensed milk, and I just have it in 2 batches, and I'm going to add this in slowly until this is fully incorporated, nice, thick, and fluffy, and I'll show you what it looks like when it gets there. Okay guys, so this has been mixing for about 4 minutes and it got a little loose, so I put it in the refrigerator for a couple of minutes and then just whipped it up some more. And it is holding itself up into like little peaks. So I am going to go ahead and separate this into 2 batches because I want to flavor one with vanilla and rose, and then I want to flavor the other half with raspberry. So I'm going to put half in here, and we're going to put this back on, and we are going to add in our raspberry. And we're just going to let this mix until it's very well combined and there's no lumps of raspberry. Okay, so to this plain white, we're just going to add in a teaspoon of rose water. You don't want it to be too overwhelming. You just want a little bit, because a little bit goes a long way. And then I'm just going to add in about 1 or 2 little baby spoonfuls of this vanilla paste. And then we're just going to give this a mix, and it's going to speckle that frosting and make it look nice and pretty. And then I'm just going to pop these in the freezer for about 5 minutes because it's very hot in here and I don't want this to get too loose. Alright, so that's nice and well incorporated. So I'm going to pop this in the freezer along with the raspberry. I'm going to let it sit for about 5 minutes and then we will put it in a piping bag and frost our cupcakes. Okay guys, so these have been in the freezer for about 5 minutes. I just went ahead and cleaned up a little bit, and I've also got a piece of plastic here, and all I'm going to do is just fill this in like little lines with my frosting here. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to be putting it in the bag over here, so I want to make sure that there's no air bubbles. Just kind of spread it out a little bit. I'm going to do the same with my white frosting here. It doesn't really matter if they overlap. And this white frosting is going to be a little bit more thick than the raspberry frosting. That's because of the liquid amount in the raspberry. So all you're going to do is just fold this over onto itself like this and kind of get it snug. And then you're going to roll one in on itself, and then just kind of snip off the end, and then you're just going to place it in a bag. I've just got a regular popping bag, disposable popping bag with a round tip. So I'm going to put this into my bag here. And we are going to start piping. So you just take a cupcake and then just pipe it on. And you can add sprinkles or whatever you desire. So I'm just going to go ahead and frost all of these. Then I'll meet you back here. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And if you want this recipe or any of my other recipes, you can find the link to my website in the description box down below. Also in the comment section. So I'm going to go enjoy dessert. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.